podcast where two longtime friends and sometimes a guest talk about their favorite games from the perspective of an average player. My name is Andrew Kimball.
And I'm Dylan Wren, and we are your friendly neighborhood gamers.
What's up and welcome back to the neighborhood, and thank you so much for listening. On today's episode, we are joined by one of the hosts of the Fake Gamer Girls podcast, a show hosted by three sisters with the goal of creating a space for anyone who has been called a fake gamer, been told they don't play real games, or are just looking for a space to be silly and unserious while talking about gaming. Please welcome to the show, Sam. How's it going, Sam?
Hey, how are you guys? I'm great.
It's good to have you on.
Yeah.
Looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, it's so good to be here. I really appreciate you guys having me on and can't wait to answer all the questions. Hopefully I get all the answers right. So
Yes, we will be grading at the end, you know.
Yeah, dang it. Don't say that to me. I'm such a when I was in school, my sisters would make fun of me because they're like, it's not life or death. And I'd be like, but what if it is? So
Yeah. Yes. Do not worry. There is no grade. There is no passing or failing this.
But if you decide you don't like me, then I will have failed. So no, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, high stakes.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm really glad to be here. Appreciate you guys inviting me on the show, and can't wait to get to know you guys, and hopefully you get to know me a little bit better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've listened to a few episodes of your podcast. I listened to it back when I was working a job that let me listen to a lot more podcasts. I'm way behind on everything. And I just felt like our mission statements, kind of the goals of our show, the premises lined up pretty well with being like average gamers, fake gamers, like the idea behind like just play games that you enjoy, just have fun. Everybody's a gamer no matter what games they like playing, how much they play those games. And so it seemed like a no-brainer to get you on the show.
Yeah, well, thank you. I was actually thinking the same thing when I was listening to your guys' episodes. I was like, oh my gosh, they're like the same as us. Like, because you guys have it is so similar because we talk so much about like, there's no fake gamers, that kind of thing. And then even at the end, you guys say stay friendly gamers, and we always say stay cool gamers, which I honestly think, I think yours is a little bit better because like yours like is just like stay friendly, which is much nicer than being like, you have to be cool, you know, but, which is what we tell our listeners. But
I was gonna say, if you're friendly, you are cool. So, you know.
Yeah, true. So, but yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that it's so similar and so kind of fun to be here to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So for you, the listener, how this episode is going to break down is we're going to be interviewing Sam, getting to know her better as a podcaster, as a content creator first. We're going to talk about her show and all the cool things going on over there. And then the back half of the conversation, we will be getting to know her as a gamer and the kind of games she likes, things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then to close it all out, it's been a while. We just came out of Dark Souls month, so that kind of disrupted our normal content flow. We haven't had a trivia game in a while, so Dylan's concocted something absolutely ridiculous, I'm sure, that he's going to subject Sam and myself to at the end of this episode. Is going to be a lot of fun. So with all that out of the way, I want to kick it off. I want you to kind of give your explanation of what it is that you do. I read the little blurb kicking this episode off, but in your words, what is Fake Gamer Girls?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Fake Gamer Girls so obviously I'm one of the hosts and I do it with my two younger sisters, Erin and Josie. So Fake Gamer Girls so we started about 2 years ago, and it's really kind of evolved over those 2 years into what it is now, which is we talk mostly about games that we are currently playing, which, are not usually that popular of games, like, or even like recent of games. But we also do a lot of like early 2000s nostalgia talk, that kind of thing. And we also do like the occasional just like random like trivia episode, or like we did like a history of women in games episode once, like stuff like that. So I would say that like Fake Gamer Girls is a podcast just for people that are really interested in like girl games, or just like maybe like games that aren't as mainstream. And when I say girl games, I kind of don't mean like games that are only for girls, but like at least the games I play are usually games that are targeted towards women.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's been interesting because, you know, I'm not a huge, like, I don't listen to a ton of podcasts. I have started more recently, but there's like a lot of gaming podcasts, but not a lot of like girl gaming podcasts. Like there are some, like there definitely are some, and I'm not trying to say that we're the first to do it at all, you know, but yeah, it's kind of like a weird little niche of like that we found of people that, you know, like to game, but really only want to play like girl games, or like one people say like are saying cozy games now, like stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to really describe exactly what Fake Gamer Girls is, because it's just kind of like whatever we feel like doing that week, that's what it is. But
Nice.
that's kind of like a description I would give of what Fake Gamer Girls is.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that's a nice kind of niche to fill, because that's something that we've noticed too about a lot of the podcasts that are out there is they are geared most of the time to that like top 10% of, you know, people that are buying every new release, following all the news, all of that kind of stuff. And so that's something that like we kind of gravitate towards as well, as like, I bought this game on sale. It came out 4 years ago, but I'm playing it now. So we're going to talk about it now, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like I think there is a market for that, because, you know, you're doing it. You guys are doing it over there, and we're doing it here. So we hope there's a market anyway.
Yeah, hopefully people like it. You know, it is kind of funny because like my sisters and I, like, we definitely played more of the same games when we were like children and growing up together, because we lived in the same household and didn't have our own money to buy separate games, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But now, like, I would say like we kind of like have like, we're on all ends of the spectrum of gaming, where like I really am the one that is playing more of like if it doesn't have dress up and romance options, I'm not that interested in it, you know?
Yeah.
But like Josie, my youngest sister, she's like really into like horror video games and like survival games. And so we talk a lot about when she's in charge, I'm learning all about a game I would literally never play, you know?
Yeah.
And then Erin's like the one that like people probably wouldn't actually even call her Fake Gamer Girl at this point, like even ironically, because like she plays everything. She's actually really good at video games and plays a lot of video games, you know? But like, so yeah, we kind of are able to cover like a lot of different topics based on what we're interested in at the time, just because we have such different interests. So yeah, it's been kind of fun. But yeah, I'm learning a lot about video games that what people would be like, oh, like you would see if you Google my name, there's going to be games showing up that I will never, ever, ever play. So
yeah,
just because Josie is in charge of that episode. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome though, because get a chance to kind of see a bunch of different perspectives all kind of in the same podcast too. So
yeah, definitely. Oh, and it seems to be working for us. At first I was like, this is like so all over the place, but people have been really supportive and nice about it. So far it's worked awesome. Out.
So what made you guys want to start Fake Gamer Girl podcast? Like what was kind of the how like we were kind of talking before the show about like we were, you know, just talking amongst ourselves, and we were like, what if we recorded these? So how did that kind of go for you guys?
Yeah, so how it got its start, it's kind of interesting. So basically Erin and I are 2 years apart, and then Josie is 5 years after Erin. So there's a little bit of a gap there, but and we have a brother also between Erin and Josie, but he's not on the podcast. He was once, but Erin and I were roommates in college, and we both ended up in 2020 marrying our college boyfriends like in the same year. And so we were no longer roommates, and like in 2021, she was starting to like float this idea by me of like, we should do a gaming podcast. And I was like, no one cares about my opinions on video games. Like we're not doing that. And I also play like phone dress up games. Like no one cares about that, you know? Like I was just like, I'm not doing it. And she was trying to get my other sister to do it, and she was like, no. And eventually Erin was just like, we're doing it. It's going to be called Fake Gamer Girls. I'm coming over to your apartment on this day and we're recording. And so I was like, okay, fine. Like, that's fine. We'll do it. So she kind of like I would say like she was definitely the one that was like, we're doing this and it's going to be fun. And I actually had a really good time. But if you listen to our first episode, it's just me and Erin. And then like later, like the next episode, Josie joins because basically Josie was like, wait, what? You guys are really doing this? Like, I want in. so it is kind of funny because our first episode, like it's just us. And then Josie joins a little bit later. But I think Erin was really interested in it at the time. First of all, because like we were no longer roommates and like she wanted a chance, like a reason for us to talk regularly. And I thought that was good. And also, like, she was at the time, like, doing, like, freelance writing for, like, gaming websites. So she was really thinking about it a lot. And we also had a friend in college whom I love dearly, who always said that she and I were not real gamers, that we were Nintendo gamers or we were fake gamers. And it really pissed her off, you know? So I think that was, like, also kind of maybe a driving thing for her was, like, the games we're playing are real games and like people want to hear about them and we're going to talk about them. So it was just kind of like, I don't think with like my friend, like it would have gone down that way, but because it's my sister, like she did feel like she's just like, I'm coming over to your apartment and we're doing this. And I was just like, okay, fine, cool. You know? So, and I'm so glad she did because it's been such a fun ride for us over the last 2 years, like doing this, But yeah, that's kind of how it came to be, was my sister forced me to do it, and I'm very grateful for her for doing that to me. So
awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully you guys, I feel like when people, you know, I hope that you guys weren't just like, oh no, we got Sam, we wanted Erin, because Erin is like the pro when it comes to that kind of stuff, to this kind of stuff just in general. But I feel like we all contribute in different ways, so it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, everybody's got just kind of like the sort of mindset of everybody is a gamer. Everybody plays games. These are real games. It's like everybody who's on a podcast contributes in some way. So like we definitely want you to be here. So don't worry.
Yeah. It is kind of funny too, because like on our podcast, like you kind of take on different roles in a podcast. You guys probably know this, like over when you kind of like get in a groove of like how you're going to do it. And like probably our listeners, like, hopefully they know that this is what I'm doing and they don't just think that I'm dumb. But, like, we will explain, like, Erin will say, like, oh, and this is, like, a procedurally generated game. And I'll be like, Erin, tell me, what does procedurally generated mean? Like, tell me that. And we've done that a couple times, you know. But that's kind of my role, is to be like, hey, we're trying to make this accessible for people. Like, our audience is not going to be people that, like, know exactly what every gaming term means. Like, when the first time she said the word like roguelite versus roguelike, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And like, so even though I know now, if she says it in a podcast, I'm like, what does that mean again? You know? So like, just because we want it to be super accessible for people. So yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's smart. It's something that I try to keep in mind with our show because, you know, we want our show to be accessible to the average gamer, but Dylan and I can also nerd out about like a Dark Souls game for 2 hours, and that's not, you know, the most average of games for everybody. So it's important to keep that kind of in mind and think about. There's a lot of terminology and a lot of stuff used interchangeably that, you know, people coming from the outside might not know or understand. And if you're just throwing those words around without stopping to explain, that's really cool.
Well, and something that we've talked a few times about on our show is just kind of the like language of games is I guess how we kind of refer to it. And, you know, it's like, we're talking in English, but there, you know, there's a language that we use to refer to games. And then also like when you play games, you know, just like learning how to look around in a game is almost like learning a language sometimes, where it's like, if you've been playing them for years and years, you don't think about like, oh, these controls might feel a little weird to somebody who's not a huge gamer or something like that. And so I think it's great that your show, you know, takes the time to try to like help translate it a little bit for people.
Yeah, well, and I think part of that came from like because like at first we were just like, well, only people we know are going to listen to this, and like we know like our mom has no idea what this means, you know? Like
right, yeah.
I think that's like a part of why that started, but then like it just kind of become part of the culture of the show, and honestly like gaming language is kind of like starting a new job and like learning like all of this new work jargon. You're like, I don't know what any of these acronyms mean, you know, like what is a JRPG? I don't know. I'm scared. Mom, come pick me up. Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's been good. And hopefully I have noticed, because I've been listening to some of our old episodes just to kind of see how we've evolved, and I'm like, oh, we definitely do forget to do it now because we've been doing it for longer, but it is like a habit we try to be in, you know. So
yeah,
for sure. You mentioned how your sister knocked down your door and said, we're calling it Fake Gamer Girls, we're doing this. Was that how the name came about? Like she just had it ready to go and you guys ran with it? Or were there some other options that maybe hit the cutting room floor? How'd you come up with your name?
Yeah, I mean, that is honestly kind of how it happened. Like she was just like, we're doing a podcast and it's called Fake Gamer Girls. And I think honestly, like it just like we knew that that's always what our show was going to be, right? Like it wasn't ever going to be like any kind of like it's obviously very tongue in cheek, right? Because our thesis is like there are no fake gamers, right? Everyone's a real gamer. But like at the end of the day, like, you know, we can make jokes about like, well, we're not going to fact check this because we're fake gamers, you know, like that kind of thing. So like, you know, I think we always knew that our show is never going to be like a super serious, like even intense gaming podcast. Like it was always going to be a little bit sillier, and it was going to be about like games that maybe the general public doesn't take as seriously, but that are still fun and good games. So there really were no other names because that was just like how she had just decided like this would be perfect, and it's not taken yet. So, and there are actually some like fakest gamer girls out there. Like there are other ones. They're kind of, it doesn't seem like they're still putting out episodes or anything.
Yeah.
But there are similarly named podcasts out there that are pretty old and not really doing it anymore. But yeah, so she was really excited. She was like, it's available and we're doing this name. So
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
That is important. That
is
a key part too. You know.
Definitely. So it's been cool though. It's been a little bit weird for me because I don't know, like, sorry, I don't want to get like ahead of myself. I don't know what other questions you're going to ask, but because like I wasn't like the driving force behind this, and also Josie kind of wasn't either. Like I feel like for the first like year and a half, even because we've been doing this for a little over 2 years now. Even the first year and a half, I feel like me and Josie were very spoiled. Like we would show up, we would record a podcast. We wouldn't think about it till the next week when we would show up and record a podcast. You know, like Erin ran all of our socials. She posted, she edited, she did all of that. And she still does most of everything. Like I'm not going to say that she's not doing it. But I think that like around like 6 months ago, maybe a little over that, like she was just like, hey, like people are actually listening to this. And we get messages from people that are like, hey, we appreciate your message and what you're doing. That I was like, I started to take it a little bit more seriously, I think, where I was like, oh, like, this isn't just me, like, dicking around with my sisters. Like, obviously that is what it is, right? Like, that is at its heart what it is. But also, like, we're creating something that, you know, obviously I'm not trying to say we have a huge following or a huge community or anything, because, like, it's still small, but, like, you know, it's something that people care about, and that's really cool. And so I feel like I've kind of started to take it more seriously even in the last 6 months or so, where I've just been like, oh, like this is something that means something to people, and it means something to me too, but I'm not the only one anymore, which is cool.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a great point that a lot of us, I think, hit as podcasters or as content creators is like at some point you cross that sort of threshold into, oh, like people are actually paying attention to this. People are like, I remember like with our show when we finally hit a number that was like, oh, it's not just like our family that's listening to this anymore. Like there are now more people than the people that we know listening.
It's so weird to think about.
So would you say like that's been, you know, one of the most surprising things about getting into podcasting, or what are some other surprising, shocking things that have kind of been a part of this podcasting experience for you?
Yeah, I'll say definitely like people supporting us and like people that we don't know supporting us has been definitely like one of the best surprises ever. Like we just like have so many cool people reach out to us and like that's so awesome and I really appreciate that. I also think that like another surprising thing is like just me kind of opening myself up to this hobby like in a more like intentional serious way, you know, like of gaming and what it is like cuz like I just never actually did consider myself a gamer until like now I'm like telling people I'm like, yeah, I have a gaming podcast. Like it's a real thing, you know? So that's been pretty like surprising for me just in myself as well, you know. But yeah, definitely the most surprising thing I think is just that like people are actually listening, you know, like that it's not me just like speaking into the ether and hearing nothing back, you know. So that's been really fun, but also a little you also like have a little bit of like not weight, I don't want to say that, but there is a little bit of like responsibility with that comes with that of like, oh, like I actually want to produce something good, you know, because I don't like we have about 70-ish episodes right now. And we have some people that have said, like, I've listened to every episode. And so I started in the last couple months re-listening to every episode because I'm like, okay, like, I have never listened to these. Like, we would literally post these and I would not think about them or listen to them at all. And I've been listening to them. And I have said this on our podcast before, like, I am so sorry to everyone who has listened to, like, some of our old episodes because, like, especially my audio was so bad. Like, I didn't care about it at all because I was just like, I'm not listening to this. It sounds good when I'm speaking to myself, you know, but you know, but and not that I didn't care, but I just, you know, I didn't really think people were listening, so I didn't think it mattered. And obviously our audio is much better now. But that has been like a weird thing for me listening back. It's like, oh, people listen to this and it sounds like the content is good. The audio quality is bad, you know. So
but at least you can show like growth from that. Like you have to start somewhere, and so now that you guys, you know, it evolved over time and now you're putting out a higher quality product as far as like audio and, you know, production and stuff like that. Because every show that isn't, you know, like a big budget company putting out their company podcast or something, and even those might sound bad, but like every show sounds the worst at the beginning, so it's just the way it is. So the important thing is that you can see the improvement and it shows that you guys care.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm not trying to say like people shouldn't listen to our old episodes or anything. Like, it's not like it's unlistenable or anything, but it is just like much better now, you know? So,
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot too comes with just kind of getting used to the podcasting experience and finding like who you like your style as a podcaster. I think helps a lot too.
And I had like no experience really to even podcasts when I started. Like Erin listened to a ton, so she knew exactly what we were supposed to do. But like I was just like, I'm just going to have a conversation with you. And because I don't really know, like I'm not a performer like professionally or anything. So it's been fun. I definitely listen to more podcasts now, but at the time I was not really even exposed to it at all. So, and you can kind of tell at first too, you know, maybe other people wouldn't be able to, but I definitely can. When I listened to it, I was like, oh, okay, this has been a growth journey for me for sure. So
Yes, I still avoid most of our podcasts, like the plague.
Oh yeah. Really? You guys sound good though. Like your audio is good, your content is good. Like you shouldn't avoid it. It's great.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you say has been some of the biggest challenges or the most difficult parts about podcasting, about creating the fake gamer girls?
Yeah, well, there's a couple things that I could say. Not that it's been like all bad or anything, because I hope I've made it clear that I love it and it's great and it's good. But I will say this is more of a silly one. When you are recording a podcast with your sisters, there is some tendency sometimes to sibling bicker on air. And that has not been our biggest challenge by any means, but it's just kind of funny to talk about that. There have been some episodes that I've listened back to that I've been like, oh, it cuts off awkwardly there because we got in an argument and we had to cut that out, you know? So like the listeners don't know, but that's why it's got a weird like clip on it in it, you know. So but no, my sisters are great, and honestly, like I would say that's one of the biggest rewards is like getting to share this with them. Like they are amazing and I love them. I will say that just kind of similar, like piggybacking on what I said about like just taking it more seriously is like, especially like in 2023, I feel like we weren't super consistent with putting out episodes just because we were like, we've got 3 of us. It's hard to figure out a time when it works for all of us. Like scheduling is hard. And like I said, like Josie and I weren't really even aware that anyone else was listening because we weren't on any of our socials or anything. So it was like, we didn't feel like that accountability that we feel now, you know, like to others. So I would say that has been a little bit of a struggle for us, is just like making time to do it, you know, not that we don't want to do it, but it's like, if this isn't your full-time job, like you are, you know, I'm working 40 plus hours a week at my full-time job. And then I'm like, okay, got to put together slides for my sisters on this game that I haven't played in 20 years, you know? So no, not quite that, but you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, no, for sure. It's another thing you got to fit into life, and life is already busy.
Yeah, I would say that's probably our biggest challenge. But we've definitely we've gotten in a better rhythm of things. And this year, I hope our listeners have seen like that, you know, we've been a lot more consistent with putting out episodes and stuff, because last year it was like really bad. So this year we've only missed a couple weeks.
So I know you mentioned that getting a chance to be on the podcast with your sisters has been super rewarding. Are there other parts of the podcasting experience that you found rewarding, or like things that are kind of feel like a little present to you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like this is what everyone says because I've listened to a bunch of your interview episodes, but like, I feel like definitely like
you notice a trend.
The people you meet, right? Like that's gotta be it, right? Like, obviously, I would say for me, like my biggest priority and the thing that I love the most is that like this is my way that I get to, like my sisters and I, like we're all over the place. We're in different parts of life. And like for like my relationship with them is the most important part of it to me, you know, and getting to share this with them and, you know, showing them that like by prioritizing this in my life, like I hope they see that like it's me prioritizing them. But also just like meeting so many cool people. Like we have like a form that's like, tell us what you're playing, and people fill it out, and like they'll just like, you know, we get to hear from like people from all over the world, which is really cool. And like people always have such nice things to say. So I feel like I'm making friends all over, you know, so it's kind of fun. Like even like our cover art was like, we got it in like our first couple months, and it was like, this kid named Emilio, he was just like, hey, I made this for you guys. And we were like, Emilio, you're the best. You know, like I've never met Emilio in real life, but I would die for Emilio. So, you know, so yeah, just that kind of thing of just like building a cool community. Obviously, number one priority, my sisters. But then after that, like just the cool, like the fun, cool community and the people I get to meet it's the best. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, there's a reason that it's a common answer, is because it's a good answer and it's true.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
You know, it's crazy to think about. I mean, just I don't know if it's all podcast. I feel like the podcasting community, just in general, of podcasting is a pretty like tight group of weirdos that we're all like really into podcasting. But then you kind of layer in the like indie gaming podcasts on top of that, and it's like that. We're just all kind of, everybody's really cool with each other, and we're all just supportive and everything. And then, you were talking about having the community aspect along with that, where you get people in your Discord that, like Dylan referenced, you hit a number where, obviously it's not all just people I know now. We've surpassed that, and that's really cool. And then you have people join your Discord or something, and you're like, is that somebody you know? No, I don't know who that is.
No, I don't know who that is. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess it's a fan, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so fun. Yeah, and I love reading, like, we haven't gotten that many reviews on our show, but, like, I love reading the reviews we get, like, of just, like, because obviously I love it because, like, we don't have a big enough following for someone to be like, this sucks, you know? Like, we haven't gotten any of that yet. So if you're listening to this and you want to do that, please don't. But but my favorite one that we got was like, someone said, unhinged but in a wholesome, but in an unhinged way. And I'm just like, yes, that's exactly what we're going for. Like, thank you for seeing the vision. Like, so, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, kind of fun.
So, what would you tell someone who wants to do what you're doing, who wants to start a podcast or some creative venture, or, you know, you've referenced your past self a lot in this conversation and how far you've come, you know, with your audio and things like that. So another way that I like to frame this question is like, what would you tell yourself starting out? Like, if you could give them any advice?
Yeah, I would say get a pushy sister who... No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Erin. I know she's going to listen. But I will say that I think that, you know, like, while I do say, like, there's a lot of things that I probably could have done different, like, audio-wise or just production-wise, like, I do think that, like, just getting started, like, is a good way to do it. Like, I think that, and I also think that a lot of podcasts, like, are only around for, like, 2 or 3 episodes, and then they kind of fizzle out, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that that's bad, you know, like, you know, tell your truth, put whatever content you have the bandwidth to do. But, like, I think that, like, just, like, knowing that, like, being consistent with it is, like, half the battle to having a podcast, you know? I think that's probably the advice I would give is, like, you know, it's really easy to, like, get this idea and be like, okay, I'm excited about it. But then it's like, okay, I talked about the 2 topics I was really excited about. What's next, you know? Mm-hmm. So, like, just definitely, like, just keep going because, like, people want to hear what you have to say. And, you know, the ones that won't listen. So, and that's fine, you know? So I think that's been good for us is, like, just being like, okay. And I think another thing I would say is, like, find someone to keep you accountable, especially at the beginning, you know? Like, I was accountable to my sisters and, you know, when we had no listens, you know, and I'm not saying that the listens are what's pushing me now. Like, it's definitely still because I got 2 little sisters in my group text saying, what time are we doing this, you know? But
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. Just, like, be accountable to someone about it. It'll help you get it going, and then just be consistent with it. And then you have a real podcast with, like, a bunch of episodes, and that's kind of fun. So
exactly.
I don't know. I don't have a ton of, like, great advice, I don't think, because I'm not, like, a professional at this. But that is the advice I would give.
Well, and I think that is great advice, you know, like, that's something that at least we've seen too, is just, like, being consistent with it is, you know, I resonated with, like, you kind of being like, okay, I've talked about my things, now what? And I think that's, you know, a point that every podcast will hit eventually, where it's just kind of like, okay, what do we do? Like, we've got an episode this week. What are we doing it on? You know?
Yeah.
And if you can kind of get in that mindset, get in that mode, be consistent, you know, it kind of helps you stay on topic, stay on task, and, you know, keep making the show.
Yeah, and it's been funny for us too because, like, now that we're 2 years in, you know, we're like, okay, like, we've done all of our nostalgia pieces. Obviously, that's not true. We do have some like things, like, but, like, I only have so many memories from my past, you know. Yeah. So, but, like, it'll be funny because, like, one time we were doing a planning and I was writing everything down, and Aaron goes, "Okay, this isn't fleshed out at all, but we should do, like, your horoscope." Your video game horoscope. And I was like, what is this idea? Like, this is a non-idea. Like, video game horoscope, what do you mean by that? But then, like, a few weeks later, we were like, hey, Princess Peach is coming out, and there's, like, 10 to 12 Princess Peach, like, different versions of Princess Peach, if you know anything about that game. But so we were like, what if we assigned each of the horoscopes to a Princess Peach outfit or version? And so then we were like, that's a show, you know. So and it's not like, I don't know, I'm not saying that that's our best one, but it is just kind of funny to see how things evolve over time of just like, okay, you can throw out your dumb ideas and then maybe it'll turn into a real idea in a little bit, you know. You just got to sit on it for a little bit. So
yeah. And that's a lot of just kind of that behind the scenes process that a lot of times I don't think the listeners get to, like, be that much aware of, is kind of like the spitballing behind the scenes of, like, what do we got going on? What ideas do we even have? And it's like, I want to do a show on XYZ. And it's just like, I don't know. That's literally all I've got.
Yeah.
Let's brainstorm up some more ideas here or something like that. So
definitely.
That wraps up our list of questions that we have for the podcast side of things. It's time to dive into gaming, and kind of a easy way to roll into this is, what have you been playing lately?
Yeah, this is the section I'm nervous for because, like, I know there are no such thing as fake gamers, but I'm just like, what do I know about gaming? Not that I don't play games, but now I'm like, I'm just worried I'm going to blink. But I actually do have an answer to this. So my sisters and I just did a game exchange series where we each assigned each other to like a game that the other one like wouldn't have played before or probably wouldn't play in their spare time. And I was like, Josie cannot assign me a game. I will not play a horror game, So Josie assigned to Aaron assigned to me, and I assigned to Josie. Nice. So we just actually recorded my episode. It's not out yet, but as of time of recording. But I just played the first 10 hours of Persona 3 Reload, if you guys have ever played that game. But I have never played any game like that at all, and it was freaky crazy. Like, it was like I was like, what's going on? Like, this story is wild. I'm so confused. And like, I mean, obviously if you guys listen to that episode, you'll hear all about like my first 10 hours experience. But yeah, so I just finished that like a couple days ago, and then on top of that, like I've still like slowly been making my way through Princess Peach Showtime. And just, always grinding out those phone games. So
yeah.
That's awesome. How is Princess Peach? And I'm asking more from the perspective of a father of a 5-year-old, but just in general, like, how is it? But also, is it a good game for like a 5-year-old girl who really likes Peach?
I would say for a 5-year-old girl who likes Peach, yes, it would be a great game. I don't think it's too difficult. I feel like anything that your 5-year-old couldn't get, it would take you like 2 seconds to be like, oh, let me do this for you, kind of thing. Also, there's like a main lobby where you can literally just like run around as Princess Peach, which is kind of fun. So, but nice. I would say the game is fine. For like, I would say for a 5-year-old, I think it's great. For me, myself playing it, I don't know that I'm like in love with it. Like I'm not thinking like it's the best thing ever. I think the concept is really cool. Like it's been really fun to like see all the different versions and outfits of Peach. But I feel like this is also something I was worried about like going into the game is like that because there's so many different ideas going on, like that, like not any one of them is like amazing, like they're all fine, and some of them are like kind of boring, but like some of them are really like cool. So, and I love the different versions of Peach and like what that means for like future cosplay options as a blonde woman, so
yeah.
So I don't know.
What is it like? What do you do? Is it like a platformer, like a Mario game, or?
So it's really hard to kind of explain. So basically, like, so the premise is like you're in a theater that's been taken over by these evil grapes, basically. And you have to go into each of you have to go into these different plays and like save the play. And there's like 10 different types of plays, and each play you get a different outfit and a different power, and it's a completely different type of gameplay. So like there's Cowgirl Peach, and she like is kind of like jumping on moving trains and like lassoing bad guys. But then there's also like Detective Peach, and you're like going around and like trying to like click on the right clue. Or there's like, it's really different types of gameplay. It's kind of like a variety game in some ways where there's just really different things. But I would say, but the levels are pretty short, I would say. Like, none of them have taken me very long, but there are, like, so there's 10 different versions, I think, and I think there's, like, 3 levels each, so there's, like, 30-ish. And then there's, like, some boss battles in between. And the boss battles some of them have taken me, like, more than one try to do, They haven't been, like, super hard or anything, but I'm also not very good at gaming, so, like, maybe someone who's better than me would be like, yeah, this took you more than one try, but... So I don't know. That is kind of, I don't know if that's like a good explanation of what it is. There's a lot of different, like there's like a Ninja Peach, and there's all different types of Princess Peach, and it's kind of fun. So
yeah, I'd heard that game had released, but I hadn't really kept up with anything about it. So yeah, that explanation helped me a lot because I didn't even really know like what you were doing in the game. So that makes sense. It's kind of seeing Peach in these different scenarios, and each one has like a little different gameplay gimmick to it. So yeah, that's
yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's fun. And honestly, like, I will buy any game like this that comes out because I want them to make more games that are targeted towards girls, you know? Because I'm like, yes, make this for me. I am your target demographic and I will buy it, you know? So I'm just like, I will buy any game like this that comes out because I'm like, yes, please keep making more, even if it's, not obviously even if it's bad, but like, I will buy it even if it's not getting like the best reviews kind of thing, because I'm like, right. I just want more of it, you know?
Yeah. And I know you mentioned phone games. So what are the phone games that get the Sam recommendation?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is actually embarrassing. I mean, so have you guys ever heard of Merge Mansion? Like there's like
it's the one with like the crazy commercials, isn't it?
Yes,
so it's like the grandma's like, I killed him or whatever.
Yeah, like, she's like, he is alive on the palm of her hand. Yep, and like Pedro Pascal's in like a bunch of ads now, and it's like really unhinged. But yeah, I play a lot of Merge games on my phone. Like the listeners will know every week my sister's like, what are you playing? And I'm like, Merge Mansion, don't talk to me about it. I'm still playing that game. But yeah, so I play a lot of Merge games, which are just like pretty much idle games where you just like are, you know, like merging different items together to get bigger, better items and then like fulfilling quests. So that's mostly what I play. I also play a lot of like solitaire on my phone. Fairway Solitaire is my favorite one. It's like golf themed, which is really lame, but that is what I play. So yeah.
Well, it's a great medium for like those more idle type games, because that's, you know, what I do on my phone a lot of times is like I'm either playing like cards or I'm playing just some sort of like idle game that I can like do something, feel like I'm progressing for like 2 seconds and then like put it away for a few hours and come back, you know?
Yeah. People hate on those games that have like energy, but I'm like, yes, I love that. I have ADHD and once an object in motion remains in motion, like I cannot stop, you know? So I'm like, when I have it like a certain number of energy, I'm like, well, I guess I gotta stop because I don't have any more energy and I can't spend $10 on it. You know, sometimes I do, and that's embarrassing too. But not that often. I'm an adult. I have my own money. Everyone lay off.
Exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
No, we've all been there. I've bought those Marvel Snap.
Oh yeah.
Season passes. So
yeah. That's funny. Yeah, but I am like the queen of phone games. I have played a lot of phone games. I do play a lot of phone games, and that's all I was playing when we started the podcast was just phone games. So like it's, you know, I've come a long way and started to play other games. So
yeah, well, and a lot of people, like you said, kind of like to hate on phone games sometimes, but it is the biggest market of games out there.
Yeah,
like it
seriously.
In our world, some of the big news of the past year was that Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard King, and it's like they bought it mostly for the King side of it, which is the mobile games. So
they make Candy Crush. So
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, that totally makes sense because, like, yeah, I know a lot of people that are my friends that listen. They're like, oh, that's the only time I ever know what you're talking about is when you bring up Angry Birds, you know, like that kind of thing. So, but I'm like, yeah, Apple Arcade, like, put that in my veins. Like,
yeah, I was kind of disappointed when my like free trial of Apple
Arcade
I know, because it was.
Yeah, it's fun. They got a lot of good games. So. Yeah.
Because I've been using the Netflix has mobile games.
Oh
playing for free.
Yeah,
so
they have Oxenfree now. Oxenfree is like a mobile game that I played forever ago, but I went back to play it, and it was like, oh, you play it with your Netflix account. I was like, oh, that was not how it was when I played it forever ago, but it is now.
Yeah.
So.
It's worth checking out. I think it's a perk that a lot of people don't even realize they probably are paying like $15 a month for. So
yeah, probably not. Yeah, I didn't really realize till I looked up Oxenfree. So I was like, oh, I guess I could play this game because I have Netflix. Kind of weird, but kind of fun.
Yeah. So how long have you been playing video games?
Yeah, this is one I feel like a lot of people don't know the answer to this question, and I definitely do know the answer to this question. When I was 6 years old, my parents for Christmas got us a GameCube. And and that would have been in like 2003 or 4. 2003, I think. And that was like how I started playing games. Well, okay, that's kind of a lie, because I started playing games with like CD-ROMs, like Freddy Fish and Putt Putt, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Like
100%.
Or like pollypocket.com and barbie.com. Like we did a lot of like flash games as well, you know? So like that is how I started gaming, was just like on websites and with CDs, like the freaking Cinderella house decorating CD-ROM that I have never been able to find online, but I remember it. It's real in my mind, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as like console gaming, like we got a GameCube, and I'm the oldest, so like I was very young, and so my siblings probably barely even remember a time without a GameCube, right? But I remember getting it, and it was very exciting. We played a lot of SSX and Mario Party and games like that. So
was it tricky? SSX tricky?
So we actually started with SSX 3, I think, but we did get tricky later. So
I've definitely so much tricky.
Yeah, that game is good. That game is a fun game. Like, yeah. The tricks that you can do are just like really good, and like and the characters are really good. Like the character design in that, like I'm like, yeah, these characters are fun. So
yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would say that's when I started like gaming, was, you know, I feel like a lot of people like know gaming from like not the GameCube, you know, like the N64 or like even like the Game Boy or something, but like no, the GameCube was like my introduction to gaming.
Yes.
So like it is what gaming is in my heart. So when I picture games, I picture a big purple cube. So
yes, that was going to be my next question: is what color was your GameCube?
Definitely purple.
Yep, that was the one, classic we had too. So
yeah, I've seen that they have like really cute other colors, and like that would have been very fun for us. But I don't know. The purple one's pretty cool. I also want to say, like, with this like question, there is something that I did want to say in this podcast, which is like, shout out to my parents, like my mom specifically, for like looking for games like that were targeted towards little girls on the GameCube, like back in the early 2000s, because that was probably really hard for her to like be like, okay, I gotta find something that's not just like, she can't only play Sonic the Hedgehog because she told me she heard there's like a Mary Kate and Ashley game and I have to find it, you know? And so my mom, like, shout out to her for finding Mary Kate and Ashley Sweet 16 for me, you know? Like, that must have been really hard, and I really appreciate that, you know?
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, honestly though. And like some of the games that we talk about like playing, we're like, oh, come on, didn't anyone ever play this? And it's like, no one ever played that. Just you guys. You guys were the only ones that, and this one's maybe not a good example, but we're like, yeah, Bratz Forever Diamonds. Everyone loved Bratz Forever Diamonds. No, not everyone did. Just a select few. Just all the people that listen to Fake Gamer Girls, because we talk about it so freaking much. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think we've all got those games from our child, especially like those of us that are in our like late 20s, early 30s. I think we all have those games where it was like still kind of niche enough, still kind of like not, like a lot of people had Wii's and Beyonds, but not as many people had like that GameCube era or before. And so I think you're way more likely to have like your game that's like this, you're literally the only person that's ever played this game that's talking about it. So like there's some like robot like wars game that I remember playing as a kid, and I'm the only person that I can find that's ever remembered it.
Yeah.
So
It's like you're starting to like question yourself, like, was that a dream? Was that real? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. Yeah, and it's funny too, like being like with talking to my siblings about gaming, because I feel like sometimes like they're the only ones who understand me when I'm like, yes, let's talk about that Madagascar video game that was horrible. And like no one else on earth probably would be like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. The sneak levels in Madagascar, the video game, you know? But I'm like, yeah, it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Would you say that the GameCube is like your favorite or your preferred console, or as you've kind of explored gaming a little bit more and started playing different games and consoles, do you have a favorite console?
I feel like the GameCube is the one that I feel the most like love and nostalgia for, right?
Yeah.
But like I recently bought a Wii because GameCubes are really expensive, and I have tried to play some old Wii games, and I'm like, these are not good. Like, this is not fun. Like, it does not hold up, you know? So I will say that, like, as far as like nostalgia and love, like GameCube for sure. But like, as far as like what I like the most now, like I is it bad if I just say like games on my PC? Like, I don't know. Like,
No.
Like
that is a
I
very
play
common answer.
Okay, yeah. Like I do feel like that's kind of the way I prefer to do it, but I also play a lot of Switch games too. Like I like to play on the Switch. So the Switch I like the Switch, you know. So
yeah. Yeah, well, and I think a lot of times it depends on like what kind of game you're going to play too, you know, like sometimes it's like, "Ooh, I want to play this game, but I kind of want to play it on the Switch," or this is like definitely a game I want to play on my PC, or like this for me it's like, oh, this is definitely a game I want to sit down in front of my TV in a nice chair and like play. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially because my gaming laptop is like fat, like it's huge, you know. Like I'm just like, I don't always want to carry that around with me everywhere. I just want to bring my Switch and, you know, that kind of thing. But But my Steam library would disagree with me that it's my favorite, because I don't even have that many games on my Steam library. So
it's okay. Even the people that do have a lot of games on their Steam library haven't played most of them. So.
Yeah. That's funny.
So what would you say would be, like, if you had to pick a favorite game of all time, what would you say that is? If that's too much, you can also like give us a top 3 or a top 5, because I know sometimes people can't pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily like have off the top of my head like this game is my favorite game ever. Probably the game I've spent the most hours on is Stardew Valley. I have spent hundreds of hours of my life on Stardew Valley, which is a lot for me because I am like a notorious like game non-finisher, you know? Like, not that you can really finish Stardew Valley, but like to have spent that much time on it like is impressive for me.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, like, can I give it a few? Yeah, you said I could give a few. Like, I really love the game Spiritfarer. Like, we just did an episode on that game. Like, I love that game. Made me cry my eyes out. I don't know if either of you have played it, but it's so good.
A little bit. My sister loves that game. We did a whole episode on it on our last show. And she talked about how much she loved it. And then she's always bringing up that I need to play it.
Yeah. And she's right. You should listen to her.
Yes. Yeah, it's one that I started and then I think it left Game Pass, and so I didn't get to continue playing it. And I'm like, I need to buy that game.
I think it's there now. They might have brought it back.
It's back? Okay.
I think so.
Cool. So... Yeah, no excuses. Now you got to play it.
I should get on that.
Yeah.
I do need to get on it. I do. After I've got to beat Hellblade, and then I've got to beat Death Stranding, because I made a bet with somebody and I lost it, so now I have to play that game.
Yeah, and then I feel like another game that I spent a lot of time on, I haven't actually finished it yet because of the ADHD thing, but Baldur's Gate 3, like, this is so off-brand for me, like, but I loved that game so much. I do love Dungeons and Dragons, so like that's probably why. But yeah, that game I was actually shocked. It took me a really long time to figure out like the controls, and I was like, this is too hard. I can't do this. But then once I actually, like, I had a friend like get on a video call with me and be like, you have to hold your mouse down if you want the camera to follow you, you know, stuff like that. Like, I really had to be babied through it. But then once I like got the hang of it, I was like, oh, like this game is really awesome. So that's probably up there in the top 3 or 5. So I don't need to list off every game I've ever loved, but those are definitely the ones that I think come to mind immediately of like, at least recently, that I've really loved.
Yeah.
And all great choices.
Yeah, good list.
There's not a wrong list for sure, but that is a fantastic list. So
thank you. Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3, Stardew Valley, and Spiritfarer. What do these games all have in common? Sam likes
Yeah.
them.
Yes. Well, and that kind of leads into our next question too.
Okay.
You know, like I think we all have specific things that we look for in a game. You know, like there are certain things that, you know, for myself, I look for games that let me explore because I like exploring different video game worlds or have like really memorable characters. So what are some things that you look for in a game that, you know, as you're starting it, as you're playing it, how do you know like, oh, okay, this is going to be something that I stick with, you know, this is going to be like, it checks all of these boxes that make it a game for Sam. So what are some of those things?
Yeah, okay, this is a good question. So I think that like one of the biggest things that I look for is like obviously like a good story. Like I like it. Obviously not every game has to have this, but I really like it when the choices you make like affect the story. Like I think that's just such a fun mechanic. And then also like a couple other things, one of them being like it has to either be easy or have an easy mode, you know? Like I'm not trying to play any games that are really hard. That's not why I play games, you know?
Yeah.
So like if people are like, easy mode makes it less of a game, they're dumb. And not really, but like you can have whatever opinion you want, I guess, but I disagree with you, you know? Like I love when a game has an easy mode and is like accessible to people like me who maybe aren't the best at gaming, you know? So that's something I really look for. And then I think another thing is like I can get a little bit of like decision paralysis sometimes. So like I want there to be choices in the game, but I don't necessarily love it when there's like when it's like so open world that I'm like, I have no direction at all. Like I have no idea because I also like am a little bit of a perfectionist and I want to do the game correctly, you know? So I'm like, not that there's usually even a correct way to play a game, but I'm like,
how are you handling Baldur's Gate 3 then?
No, honestly, that's why, yeah. I mean, the thing is with that game is like it's a little bit open worldy, but it's also like there's like pretty set parameters and like you can't really progress. Like it tells you like, are you sure? You know, like, you know, that which I love. I'm like, yes, thank you for the warning, you know? So
yeah, like halfway through what you were saying, I was getting ready to recommend The Witcher 3 and then you started talking about like, but I don't like it too open with too many things to do. I'm like, well, maybe not then. You know?
Yeah. It's hard for me just because like I do hate it. Like I do have a hard time. Like I have tried, this is going to be a hot take and don't hate me for this. I cannot play Breath of the Wild because
I feel that.
There's too many things to do and I just need them to tell me what to do next. You know?
Yeah.
So not that I think that's a bad game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. For me, I'm just like, I don't have enough direction and I'm bad at games. So please tell me more of what I need to do. So
yeah, that was very similar to my take on Breath of the Wild, where I was like, I appreciate what it's doing. I don't like it though. I don't like this as much. But I think too, like you were kind of saying, like Baldur's Gate does a very, I think, good job of being open to like kind of like, hey, do whatever you want, but it's like you're trying to accomplish these goals. And it's like you can kind of do them in whatever way you want to do them, but like it's still giving you like there's always a direction that you've got that you can be kind of going towards. Whereas I think some open world games do just kind of like throw you to the wolves and are like, okay, like figure out your own fun. And it's like, I mean, I can if I have to, but I'd like you to tell me
that's
something.
where you and I differ is I cannot. I'll be like, I can't do it, you know? So
yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, I think like a really good example of like, not that this is my favorite game ever, but like, have you guys heard of or played Life is Strange? Do you know what that is?
It, yes.
Okay,
so Life is first one.
Okay, I've only played the second one, but I played a little bit of the first one, like the free demo, and then I didn't play the rest of it. But I played Life is Strange 2, and like this is not like that good of a game. I'm not saying like it's amazing, but it has a lot of the things that I like, where it's like very story driven. The choices you make matter, and also you can only do one thing at a time. Like there is one level, and then when you are done with that, you go to the next level. You know, like I love that. I'm like, yes, give me more of that. Give me more of the give me less of the choices, but like enough choices that I'm happy with it, you know? So,
Yeah.
So I guess that's making me sound like I'm like very particular about games. And I guess I kind of am. So I guess it's fine that I sound like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like what you like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's the, we all have different tastes. We all have, and even if random people on Twitter and YouTube comments like, don't think that you can have different opinions about things.
Yeah.
The truth is that we actually can, and we all like different things. And so,
Yeah.
we just wanted to know what you like. But also sometimes, we have listeners who may be like, oh, I've been really vibing with like what Sam's saying, and I seem to like a lot of the games that she likes. And so like what other games might she be talking about that I haven't played yet,
Yeah, maybe so. And then they'll get on and it'll be like, Josie's like, now we're playing Dead by Daylight. And I'll be like, I mean, that is probably what would happen. But there will be some episodes that I will be giving recommendations for. So
for sure.
Nice. Well, let's look to the future. And are there any games on the horizon or maybe that have been announced? Like they don't have to necessarily be coming out like in the next few months or anything, but are there any games coming up that you're excited about that you're looking forward to?
yeah, so I knew you guys were going to ask us because I've been listening to like your other interview episodes, and I was
She's
like,
been
really,
cheating.
I've been cheating. I got like someone took the test before me, and I asked them for their notes. So yes,
Yeah.
that is exactly what happened. But I was like, oh crap, I am not up to date on like gaming news like at all. Like the way I get game recommendations is literally through the podcast. Like people will be like, this is what I'm playing right now and I think you guys would like it. And then if it sounds good to me, I'll be like, okay, I guess I'll play that, that kind of thing. Especially because I'm not on TikTok anymore, and that was how I used to get recommendations,
Yeah.
But one game that I do know about, which has no release date, is The Haunted Chocolatier, which is the game by the creator of Stardew Valley. And
Yep.
I am so ready to sell my soul for that game. Like I will leave it all behind when that game comes out. Like I am ready. So that's probably the only one that I even really know about that I'm super excited for. And who knows when it will come out. Erin's saying it's going to be a long time, which she's a hater, but whatever. But it probably will.
I mean, they've
be a
been
while.
talking about it for at least a couple years now, right? That we've
I think it's been like a
it.
year or a year and a half or something, maybe 2
Okay.
years even. Yeah, it's been a while, but they also just did like a big release. The creator did like a big like Stardew Valley update recently, which he was like, I'm taking
okay.
a break from the Haunted Chocolatier to like do more Stardew Valley content, and that just came out like a couple months ago. So like I know he was taking a break from Haunted Chocolatier for that. So I don't know how much like that sets us back as far as Haunted Chocolatier goes, but
Yeah.
either way, I will be happy whenever it is given to me, and I will play it and love it. And I have no doubts about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for that one. And I love Halloween, so I'm like, yeah, give me Stardew Valley, but spookier. Like I love that. So
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be awesome. I think it will be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good answer. I've heard that name before, but it's definitely one that is not on my radar as much. So it's nice to hear it brought back up in the conversation again.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, it's probably not the one you guys probably get too much on this show because I feel like it's just like very specific target demographic of people that is like really watching for that game, like
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who you're talking to. And to be fair, Stardew Valley is wildly popular.
it is
so-
super popular now, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
so it may have a bit more eyes on it than,
Yeah.
well, it definitely has more eyes on it than if that hadn't come before it, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's another one of those games that it's like, I don't know why, but I've purchased it a bunch of different times. I'm pretty sure I have it on like like my PC, my Switch, and my Xbox for some
Oh,
reason.
yeah.
Stardew Valley.
So, yeah.
Do you play it a lot, or do you just have it on different versions of it?
I've started so many farms, and
Yeah,
then
that's how it
I'll
goes, right?
I'll get to a point, and then my ADHD will kick in, and I'll go play a different game, and then I'll come back, and I'm like, well, I don't want to just like jump back into like 3 months into
Yeah.
a farm here. I need to start again.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I've ever actually made it to the end or like completion
like-
on a lot of things in Stardew Valley, but
Yeah.
I have put in a decent number of hours to it. So.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, I also have like a million farms in that game. I think my sisters and I have like 3 different farms together that we've been like, okay, we got to start over, just because that's just the way it goes, right?
Yes. So you get to a point and you're like, I don't like how I planted all this. And rather than like,
but then it's the worst. Yeah, it's the worst because then you're like, oh, I have all the starter tools again and they're terrible. So.
Yes. You got to wait for Clint to upgrade them. It takes like an entire...
Freaking Clint. Hate that guy.
Yes.
That is all of the questions that we have written down for you. Is there anything else that you wanted to say or any thoughts that you had that you weren't able to get out before we move into our closing segment for this episode?
I don't think so. I think, I talked a lot. I think I said everything that I was hoping to say, so appreciate you guys listening to me chatter on.
Yeah,
no, for sure. It's been fun, but the fun does not stop here.
Oh, yes.
Let's go ahead and roll into our closing segment for this episode. So, Dylan, what did you come up with to torture us this week?
Now, as I have to remind everybody every time that I do this, I didn't come up with these things. I went out, I surveyed random internet list posters with against their will. Like I just pulled it from their random list that they wrote. And I compiled all of those together into 3 categories. Like
on Reddit?
Yeah, Reddit was some of them. And then just Ranker and some of the other, it's just I don't know how many actual qualifications anybody that posted any of these had.
Okay. Amazing.
But I've got 3 top 10 / there's one that's 11 long lists here about topics that hopefully you guys will be a little bit familiar with. And it is, you guys are going to be working together to see if you can name all the 10 things on the list before you get, we'll say 3-4 misses in a row. If there's 3 or 4 misses, we'll call it. We'll go to the next one. We'll kind of just read the list as is. And so I've got 3 of these.
So do we want to agree on an answer before we submit final answer? Or are we allowed to discuss or we're each doing one?
Yeah, you guys can definitely discuss, but I was going to let you kind of go back and forth and just kind of work together to alternate or work it however you want to do it. I am open to, but
Okay.
I was thinking alternate because then at least there's not just one person giving all of the answers, it's just you get a chance to kind of go back and forth a little bit, but you can definitely discuss.
Yeah. Because then if Andrew's carrying the team, then it's every other. So it's just I miss, he gets one. I miss, he gets one.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So I know that you mentioned that GameCube was kind of your number one console. And so I pulled together a list of supposedly some random people on the internet's top 10 games that were on the GameCube.
This is going to hurt.
Amazing. I know. Is it going to be so bad? Because I'm trying to think of 10 games now that I know from the GameCube.
I was going to say, there are definitely, looking at this, I think there are definitely at least 5 or 6 that
make sense.
Or make sense or that are pretty common answers. And then there are a few that, because they appeared on several people's lists pretty high up, have risen to the top. Even though I don't know that those are actually if people would agree that those are the best games. So, Sam, since you're our guest, I'll let you take the first shot here of, what what do you think would make it onto the internet, like random people on the internet's top 10 games on GameCube?
Okay. So I'm trying to think of like all the games that are good on the GameCube, and there's a lot of them. But I think if this is not on the list, then these people are dumb. It's got to be Mario Kart Double Dash, right? Like that's got to be on there.
Mario Kart Double Dash is number 7 on the list, and I would agree with you. It is my favorite Mario Kart game.
Yeah,
I am so
that's such a good one.
disappointed that they haven't like done anything with that ever again. That was a fantastic game.
And you get 2 characters. Like, what more could you want? To be Toad and Toadette?
Yeah,
the dream.
Well, and I have super young siblings. There's like a 10-year age gap, and so like when I was playing that game like as a kid, that was something they could do, is they could be the character on the back of the cart doing and still feel like they were contributing, but I was steering, so you know.
Yeah, so you're still like kicking trash, but like they're playing, and that's fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. Except for when you accidentally switch who's driving and throwing, and it's like, oh crap. Yeah.
Just like press
that
this
Z button
again.
Yeah. Amazing.
All right. What is your next guess? Feel free to discuss amongst yourselves.
Am I guessing Andrew again? Oh, okay.
Andrew is guessing, but you guys can discuss amongst yourselves if you need some.
I have a pretty good guess. Okay. We'll see if your list agrees, but Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Super Smash Brothers Melee is also on the list at number 6.
Nice.
That's a good one. Okay, crap. Now I got to think of another one. I'm trying to think of games. So, like, I think there's some Sonic. I know you guys hate Sonic, I think. I'm not sure if you hate Sonic or not.
Just one of us hates Sonic, and it's
I don't hate
not
Sonic.
Me.
I just am often confused because the only thing I ever hear is, yeah, this game is terrible, but I love Sonic. And I'm like, but there hasn't been a good one in 20 years, according to you, and you're a fan. So, yeah.
No, I've only ever played Sonic Adventure 2 Director's Cut, and so like that's not my guess.
That is the one that I hear the most about.
The Chow Garden.
Yeah, and that's all I did in that game was the Chow Garden. So I don't actually know anything about the plot, except for there was like the Tikal level. I liked that one too. Anyway, I don't think that's my guess. I think. Okay,
Mario franchise is probably a safe bet.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with. I just need to know. Do I need to say because there is a few Mario parties that came out on this, and I love those are ones that I loved. Do I have to say like which Mario party specifically, or can I just say one of the Mario parties and you could tell me?
You could just say one of the Mario parties. Unfortunately, none of them are on this list.
Really,
but I would agree with you.
I love those games though.
Yeah. Mario Party 4 was the one that we had and played constantly.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was it. I think it deserves to be on the list, but
yeah,
unfortunately it is not.
Oh, I got another guess. After you go, I got a good one.
Okay.
Well, hopefully I don't steal it. I'm going with Wind Waker.
Oh,
Wind Waker. Wind Waker is number 3 on the list.
Wow, 2 games above Wind Waker.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a really good one, though. That's like the only one that I've even played very much of the Legend of Zelda series. So, okay, this one I'm going to guess, and if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. I'm going to say Luigi's Mansion.
That is a fantastic guess, but it is also, unfortunately, not on the list.
And that's like the one that everybody talks about.
Yeah, that's the one that I have played, and I thought it was fantastic. So
yeah, interesting. Okay. I'm trying to not think of any other GameCube game that I know. Just kidding.
Well, I guess we'll go with Mario Sunshine.
Mario Sunshine, also shockingly not on the list.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I am surprised by that, because that's the one I was for sure was gonna be on this list. Because
I know it's divisive with some Mario fans, but it's still like a 3D Mario game on the console.
Exactly. Well, was that the only Mario game that came out on GameCube? Like the only like platformer Mario?
Yes, because Galaxy
was on the
Wii.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was the big Mario game. Well, I guess we need to put our heads together for this last one.
Okay, so I have a few that I'm thinking like. So there was a lot of Lego games that came out, like Lego Star Wars. I think
Lego
would
Star
be
Wars is
a good guess.
A big deal.
Also, I'm thinking there's like Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door was a good one.
But that's also a solid guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite favorite Mario game.
Yeah,
in general.
my brother loves that game.
Okay, so I think Paper Mario is probably a pretty solid guess. I like the Lego Star Wars pick because it's kind of an underdog. Like I originally wouldn't have thought of that one,
Yeah.
but with this list in particular,
yeah.
like I could see people having deep nostalgia for that game specifically. But it's hard to argue against Mario. So if you're feeling good about Mario, let's ship it and see what happens.
Okay, yeah. I guess we'll do that one. Paper
Okay.
Mario, Thousand Year Door.
Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door is number 5 on the
Nice.
list.
Still
So
alive.
Congratulations. Still
Yes.
alive, still working your way through this list. There are, of the 6 games that you have left, 3 of them are Nintendo properties, 3 of them are not, if that helps.
What Pokemon games? I don't play Pokemon, but or Pokemon,
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't
However.
I don't know if Pokemon, if there was
Pokemon
one. I don't
Coliseum
know.
was there. He's given us
That's
a clue
right.
though, because he said he doesn't
he's-
know. There's no. We got him. We got him. There's
him.
no Pokemon game. Pokemon Coliseum, but that's probably not the one because he doesn't know it. I'm
I know
trying to
that
think.
Twilight Princess came out on GameCube. It really just shocks me that Sunshine wasn't even didn't make the cut at all. So I know a lot of people think of Twilight Princess as a Wii game because it was on both. So I'm kind of nervous to pick that one.
But people like that game, right? That's a pretty good guess. I
Yeah,
don't know.
our missing streak starts over, right? So
Yeah.
I'll go with the second Zelda game. I'll go with Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess was number 1 on this
Oh.
list.
Okay, you got it.
Wow.
Nice.
That surprises me, honestly. It's a good game. I like Twilight Princess, but
Yeah. Okay. Should we guess Lego Star Wars just in case it's on there? I don't
might as
know.
well.
Okay. Another one that I'm thinking of would be something just out there, like Monkey Ball, Super Monkey
yeah.
Ball, But I'm gonna go for this guess. I'm gonna say Lego Star Wars.
Unfortunately not.
That's a good game, though.
It is a
Yeah.
very good game. It is a very good game. Played a lot of that.
Okay, so we still have some more Nintendo properties that it could be. What other big Nintendo? Animal Crossing?
Oh, that's a good guess. Yeah.
Also should be on the list.
Ah.
It is not on the
No,
list.
it's not on
'Cause-
the list.
Yeah, that one shocked me because I was like, "That it started here, didn't it?" Come
yeah,
on.
that was the first one. That's such a good version because they're so mean to you in that game. They will straight up come up to you and just be like, "Hey, has anyone ever told you that you're ugly and everyone hates you?" And you're just like, "I'm 5. What's happening? Why are you saying this to me? Please."
Why
Actually,
did
you're like,
learn
"I
how to
can't read."
Yeah,
Yeah, you're like, "I can't read." Yeah, exactly. Okay, crap. So is
Alright.
that 2 in a row then? So we gotta
Yeah,
get this
this-
last one. So I'm thinking maybe the Sonic guess might actually be a good guess. I don't know.
I mean, at this point, it could be anything. Yeah. It's
but there's also Kirby games. There's probably Kirby. The only one I know of is Kirby Air Ride. That's the only one I
Yep.
played, which is a really
That's the
good
only
one.
I played too.
and that was on GameCube?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, what's baffling me is that there's still 2 Nintendo games?
I
you said?
know, yeah.
And
but
I
I'm
can't think of there was a Metroid game. The Metroid Prime games were on GameCube. People really love those, but I don't know.
should I guess that? Is it my guess?
Yeah, it's your guess.
Okay, well, we're working together, so I can guess that one if you
Yeah.
think that's good. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're beloved, so
Okay. Yes, I will go with the Metroid Prime game.
All right. Metroid Prime is number 2 on
Wow.
the list.
Wow, you're really good at this.
I mean, we're coming back from the brink, so
Yeah,
Yes.
honestly, we are surviving. Wait, so which
Yeah.
numbers in the list
Yeah,
do we
so
have
you've
left?
got number 1 Twilight Princess, number 2 Metroid Prime, number 3 Wind Waker. Number 4 is still question
To be
marks.
determined.
Number 5 was Paper Mario. Number 6 was Super Smash Brothers, and number 7 was Double Dash. And then 8, 9, and 10 are also question marks.
Okay.
Now, there's a second Metroid Prime game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be. I mean, they have 2 Zeldas on there, right? So
Yeah.
It's not like
Crazy that 2 Metroid games would make the list and not Mario Sunshine.
yeah, that would be wild.
But why not? We reset our misses, so Metroid Prime 2.
Yeah.
Not on the list.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So now we've got 4, 8, 9, and 10, right?
Mhm.
So.
Yes.
But this is just
I'm
like
starting to think about the weird GameCube. Like, I'm starting to think about the Star Fox Assault game that me and my siblings would play. And I'm like, there's no way that's on the list.
Yeah. And like, I know for a fact no one played like Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. Like, no one played that. It's not on there. Mary Kate and Ashley is not on there, you know? So like, what do I contribute to this? Nothing. You know?
There's still one more Nintendo game.
Oh, okay.
I played Lord of the Rings Return of the King on my GameCube, and people love that game, but
Oh, really?
I don't
And
know
there's
if
a lot
they
of Harry
associate it
Potter
with the
games.
GameCube.
There's a lot of Harry Potter games on the GameCube.
There are a lot of
Oh.
Potter games in GameCube too.
Which
I don't know.
people, yeah, I don't know either. All right.
Throw
can
something out there.
I'm going to go Kirby Air Ride. Did we guess that already?
We have not.
You have not guessed that yet. I would put that game on the list, but it is not on this list, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was just like, that's one that I've played that people might know. So I have to guess it.
I feel like there's got to be a very obvious Nintendo game I'm not
I
thinking
know.
of,
We're just
and
like
it's-
missing one. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think anyone would blame you if you don't get these next 4. So
Okay.
So we're not like going
Yeah.
to look stupid.
no,
Just go
I don't think
SSX
so.
tricky. SSX. Just kidding. That is a really good game.
is a
though.
really
fun
Sonic
game.
Riders. Sonic Riders. Also a great game. Just more racing games. That's all I played because that's all my dad liked was just racing games.
Yeah,
Hey, they put Double Dash on there, so.
that's true.
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
That I think I was surprised that the internet's list did not include that as in this ranking. So
I'm running out of guesses.
yeah, so that is 3 misses in a row. So we will just move on to the next list. But this list in order was number 1, Twilight Princess. Number 2, Metroid Prime. Number 3, Wind Waker. Number 4, Resident Evil 4, which I think a lot of people forget was a GameCube game.
Yeah.
Number 5,
Yeah.
Paper Mario. Number 6, Super Smash Brothers. Number 7 was Mario Kart Double Dash. Number 8 was the remake of the original Resident Evil. Number 9 was Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, which
Yeah, I
was the
never
other
would've got
Nintendo
that.
game.
Yeah, me neither.
And then number 10 was Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2.
I was wondering
I
if
was
it
on
was
the
going to be a
right
Star Wars
track with
game.
the Star
Yes, you were
Wars.
so close with the Star Wars. So,
But I had to I should have just said Star Wars and then
yeah, would have done it.
A Star Wars game. We'll remember that for the
Yes.
next list.
Yep.
Yes.
We'll be more vague so he can give us the point. Amazing.
So, the next list is cozy games. So this is the internet's list of its top 10 cozy games.
We got this.
All of them. I don't know if there's anything from I don't think there's anything from 2024 on here, but there might be stuff all the way up through last year.
Okay.
So I think Andrew went last, so we'll kick it over to you first, Sam.
Okay, Stardew Valley. Got it. That's on there.
Yes, Stardew Valley is on there at number. Oh, my numbering got messed up. At number 7, Stardew Valley.
Really? There's 6 games
Yes.
ahead of Stardew Valley. Honestly.
That was
All right.
surprising to me as well. So,
Yeah.
Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh, that's probably
Animal
a better
Crossing's New Horizons was number 1.
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, that makes sense, honestly. Okay, now I'm trying to think of like what's like a very common like cozy game. Like, because like I could just say Spiritfarer because that's like a very popular good game, but I don't know if it's just popular in circles that I'm in. You know, like I think that it's
Cozy
very loved.
Circles.
Yeah, true. So okay, I'll just go Spiritfarer. Right? Is that on
Yep.
there? Okay.
Spiritfarer is number 3.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to carry us on this one. So.
I don't know though. Like I've only played so many games.
This one's Cult of the Lamb.
Okay, that's
Cult
a
of
good
the Lamb.
game.
Is a good game. Did not make the
You
list.
say the
unfortunately.
roguelite side
Yeah,
of it maybe
that
wasn't
part of it.
too cozy.
I mean, I think it's still kind of a cozy game though.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the dungeon crawling is a little stressful. Okay. Can I just say okay. Well, I don't want to know because like Story of Seasons is what I want to guess here, which is another farming sim. But there's like so many of them, and I don't know if I have to say specifically which one. I have to say?
No, I won't make you
Okay.
say the specifics for any of these.
Okay, because they're all the same pretty much. So I'm going to say Story of Seasons just because I think it'll be on there.
Unfortunately, Story of Seasons not on here.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Crap. I really was confident about that one.
That
Okay, so now
that
we
one
gotta-
does feel like it should have been on there.
Yeah, that's like it started it all, because that's the Old Harvest Moon,
Yeah.
right? So,
So I've got a few in my head. I'll kick to you and see what you think. A Short Hike comes to mind.
okay, I've never played that, but that is a really popular one.
Venba, which I think just came
I don't
out
think
last
that one was
year.
super popular though.
Okay.
It had mixed reviews from what I could see.
What else?
There's like Cozy Grove, which is like a
Cozy
pretty
Grove. There's
pretty
like
popular one.
Chicory.
Yeah, Chicory, I feel like, but I will say I know that Chicory is one of our least listened to episodes. So I'm like, maybe people don't know what that game is. you
Yeah.
know? So,
My sister loves this game, Night in the Woods.
okay, I have played that game. It is scary.
Okay.
It might be classified as cozy, but it's kind of creepy. Like it's kind of creepy, scary, spooky.
Yeah.
Okay. Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Oh, do that one. Guess that.
Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Disney Dreamlight Valley is number 2.
I'm trying to go
Okay.
back and think about we've
Yeah,
had
like,
cozy
what's, like,
game
a-
conversations before. What came up? Because it's not like my go-to genre. Every now and then I'll find one that I get into. Like obviously Animal Crossing, the whole world got into that one. But every once in a
Yeah.
while, one grabs me for a while and I get into it. But I prefer more action in my games typically.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think one that I really loved that I know had a pretty has a cult following is Wildflowers. I'm definitely part of that following. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's a farming game. Okay, so if you haven't heard of it, we're not going to guess it. because-
Okay.
One that I'm thinking we could do is Coffee Talk. Have you guys
That one popped
played-
in my head. Yeah. I don't really know much about it, but I've heard the name.
Yeah, I've never played that one, but I know that it's very popular.
Well,
So I kind of want to do that one.
go for it.
Okay, I'll go Coffee Talk.
I have heard a lot about Coffee Talk, and it was popular enough to get a sequel, but it did not make the list,
Dang.
unfortunately.
Dang, I'm really blowing it here. I feel like I'm missing a lot.
No, I feel like you guys have hit all of the big obvious ones on this part of the list, and then the rest are ones that I have only sort of tangentially heard of here.
Oh, okay.
All right. So
Oh, you know what you should do? Okay, maybe not. I guess we have one more if you get this. There's the My Time at Portia, My Time at Sandrock. Have you heard of those?
My Time at Portia. I've heard of that one.
I think he would probably let us guess just the My Time at series, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a couple of them.
I'll go with that then. I got
That is
nothing.
a fantastic guess that I was shocked was not on the list as well, because
Really?
that's one that I hear about constantly. So
Really? Ugh, okay, crap. So we got one more guess. So we could go Cozy Grove, which I feel like
It has
people
cozy in
think
the
of
name.
when
Yeah.
it has the literal name Cozy in it. But then there's Cattails we could do, which I don't really like, but people do like that game. Also, there's would Minecraft be on there? Some people do consider Minecraft a cozy game.
I was trying to think of you have The Sims, you have Minecraft, you have
Oh yeah, The Sims is a good one.
your
Minecraft
city
is also
builders,
really
or even zoo builder type game, like Zoo Tycoon
Yeah.
and things like that. But I don't know.
I think we should go with The Sims. I think The Sims is a good guess.
All right.
Okay, cool. All right, we're going The Sims.
The Sims is a fantastic guess, but it also did
Not
not
on
show up
there.
on the list.
Ah,
So,
dang.
so number 1 was Animal Crossing's New Horizon. Number 2 was Disney Dreamlight Valley. Number 3 was Spiritfarer. Number 4 is a game called Toem. TOEM, which
I've seen it. I've never I've seen it on like the PlayStation Store or Xbox Store or whatever, but I don't really know anything about it.
Well, and I think the tough part about this one was cozy games is such like a wide category that
like what
at
is
this
it?
point, unpacking was number 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Which-
I'm dumb for that. I'm
which I
dumb
was
for
like,
that.
that's the one where I'm like, okay, I knew that one. And the next
And
one,
I
number
love that game.
Yeah, that I've heard nothing but good things about unpacking. So
I should have guessed that.
It has a GameCube in it, apparently.
oh,
It does.
number 6 is Chia, TCHIA.
Yeah. That one came out last year. It had kind of like Breath of the Wild aesthetics. You could turn into animals, I think. You're like exploring an island.
Number 7 was
If
Stardew.
Ooblets is on there, I'm going to be mad.
Number 8 is Power Wash Simulator.
Oh, okay. We should have been thinking more simulators. 'Cause
Yeah.
that is a popular one.
That one had its time in the zeitgeist, last year before. Yeah.
Mhm. Number 9 is Coral Island.
I was going to guess that, but I'm like, it was like such, I think it's still in early access. So I'm like, there's no way it's on there.
New. Still very
I was
new.
like, there's no way it's on there. So I didn't even throw it out there, but I did think that.
And then number 10 is New Pokemon Snap, which was the one that I looked at and I was like,
Yeah.
really?
I never would have
I mean,
guessed
I guess it's a kind of cozy, like you're going around taking pictures of Pokemon, but
yeah.
I was like, that one doesn't feel like it belongs on this list. But the internet is the internet, and it's going to do what the internet does and make stupid lists that make no sense.
Yeah. The only one I feel really dumb about is Unpacking. Like, I've played that game so many times, and I definitely should have guessed that.
Well, and whatever the one, I was surprised the one where you like organize all of the things. I forget what that game is called. A Little to the Left.
Oh, A Little to the Left.
I was like, that one
that's
feels
a good
like
one
it should
too.
be on here.
Yeah.
So my final category.
This is the unhinged one.
This is the one that was not all of the unhinged things have landed on this list, but some of them still kind of. So this is the most romanceable characters.
Oh my god!
According to the internet in video games, inspired by an episode that you can go listen to on the Fake Gamer Girls podcast, where they talked about their most romanceable characters. So this is the list with 11 characters on it.
Do they have any repeat games? Can you tell us that much? Because I'm just wondering if I should start naming off like everyone from Baldur's Gate 3, you know.
I do not see repeat games, and to make it a little bit easier, I will if you name a character from Baldur's Gate and you get it, I'll tell you like, okay, there are no more Baldur's Gate characters on the list, just to make it a little bit easier. Because this one I feel like is tougher in that way because it's like all of Baldur's Gate 3.
For sure. Okay, who's going first? I don't remember.
I think it's me starting.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Well, Triss.
Nope, not on the list.
No.
What game is that?
That is from The Witcher 3.
Oh, okay.
And The Witcher 2. Oh, that hurts. I swear to God, if Sonic the Hedgehog's on this list.
Sonic the Hedgehog was in the list, but he was not on this. He didn't make it to the top 10.
Okay, I feel confident about this, and if I'm wrong, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to go with Astarion, because he is like the internet's... everyone loves him from Baldur's Gate 3.
Astarion did not get the most votes in Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay. It's got to be
We're going to whiff on the first one. Yeah, I was thinking Shadowheart, but I don't.
Can we have can we get a princess because it's Fake Gamer Girls if we whiff the first time?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we'll let you keep going.
Okay. It's probably Shadowheart because she is the most popular Baldur's Gate 3 character, but you don't have to guess that. I'm just saying that's probably... I'm trying to think other games that have romanceable characters now that I'm totally blinking, even though we talk about this so much.
But I also don't think it has to be characters the game lets you romance. I think.
Oh, is it not?
Or is that the spirit of the list? I was thinking
it doesn't have to be, but all of the ones that ended up in the top 10 are.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then I'm gonna go Shadowheart.
Also not Shadowheart, which shocked me. it shocked me that neither Astarion or Shadowheart got the most votes. I think it was just like one or two people were really into a different Baldur's Gate character and put them at number one, so it unintentionally inflated them. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta get off Baldur's Gate and try
Yeah, we can't just guess all the Baldur's Gate characters. Lae'zel. Just kidding. I'm not going Lae'zel. But what if it is Lae'zel? Okay. Anyway. Okay. So I know my list definitely had Wesley from Wildflowers, but I don't know that that would be like one on this other people's lists. There's also like the remake of Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life just came out, and like a lot of people played that game, but I don't know that any of those characters, like I don't know which one, if any of them, would be on this list, you know?
yeah, I was gonna say that also makes it hard when it's like a game that has a ton of different options, because it is harder to whittle down like which one wound up on the list.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
I just thought of the Mass Effect series, but it's another series with a lot of characters that you could romance, and I don't know anything about them personally other than what I've heard, and I know Garrus is like our group's favorite, but I don't know if the internet shares that opinion, so it's tough.
What about like I talk about this game so much. There's the game Detroit Become Human. You can romance that one girl, North. I don't think she'll be on the list, though. The thing with me is I have played a lot of dating simulators, like Dream Daddy. I could tell you all the guys in Dream Daddy, which is a game about being a single dad dating other single dads. But
Robert did not make the list.
I don't think Robert's on the list, you know?
He did not get enough votes to make the top 10, unfortunately.
What about Colonel Sanders?
I've played that game. I know what you're talking about. I shouldn't be admitting this. Digital footprint is real. Okay, is it my guess?
Yes.
Oh, crap. Okay, sorry. I have literally no idea what to do. I'm gonna go with Muffy/Molly from Story of Seasons.
Also a good guess. Also, unfortunately, not on the list. So I'm going to read you guys the games and then let you go from there.
Yeah.
So there is a character from Cyberpunk. There is a character. There is a character from Baldur's Gate 3. There is a character from Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh.
There is a character from Final Fantasy VII. There is a character from Life is Strange: True Colors.
Okay.
There is a character from Fallout 4. There's a character from Persona 5. There is a character from Dragon Age Inquisition. One from Stardew Valley.
Oh, we should have gone Stardew Valley.
One from Mass Effect, and one from The Witcher.
Okay, so is it me?
Yes.
I'm gonna go Pan Am.
Yes, Pan Am from Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk
was number 11. She was one of 4 tied for number 10.
Best girl.
Or number 7, because the list worked out weird. There were a bunch of ties in this list.
Okay, so I'm just like worried I'm going to get her name wrong. The girl from Life is Strange: True Colors I think her name is Stephanie. So yes. I am going to say Stephanie.
Yes, okay. Steph was number 6.
Okay.
One of the ones tied for number 6 for Life is Strange.
All right. Is Mass Effect Garrus?
Mass Effect is Garrus.
Okay.
He was number 2.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm thinking for Stardew Valley, I don't think this is the best character, but I feel like Shane is probably what I'm going to guess made the list.
Not Shane, but good guess.
Really?
Good guess.
I feel like that's the one that people are always like, I love Shane, even though he's the worst. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. The one I hear a lot of people is, well, I'll say after, but.
Yeah. I want to know the sexuality of the people that made this, because are there more girls on the list? Are there more guys on the list? You know, that would make it easier for me.
I tried to pull as much as I could tell fairly equally between guys and girls. So as much as I could gather from like reading a name of the article. So, and I will say, almost every article, if not all of them, had characters from both genders. So,
okay.
I'm interested to see if The Witcher is Yennefer.
The Witcher is Yennefer.
Nice.
Yennefer was number 1.
Wow.
She showed up somewhere on every list.
Wow.
Amazing.
Not just beating out Triss, but being number one on the list. That is...
Yeah, Triss, I don't think was on any of the lists because they all just picked Jennifer.
That's crazy.
Mm.
All those book fans.
Okay, so I know, like, I've never played Persona 5 or Fire Emblem 3, but my sisters have, and I'm, like, racking my brain for, like, which of those characters I've heard of. I feel like there's a character named, like, Cassandra or something that my sister has told me about. It's, like, starts with the C. Okay, but then the Dragon Age one. I don't know his name, but I feel like it's gotta be that bald elf guy, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Solus is who you're talking about. And
Yes.
unfortunately, it is not Solus.
Really? Maybe I was just on weird TikTok then. Like, 'cause I feel like I saw a lot of thirst traps of that dude.
I feel
When
like
us-
Solus has come around in recent years. I feel like
okay.
when the game came out, he wasn't most people's choice, but
Okay.
now he is, especially because he
Okay.
ties. I think he was much more heavily featured in the DLC for that game, and so
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I think a lot of
Okay.
people have come around to Solus.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be any help on the rest of these because I haven't played, except for Stardew Valley. I can just start naming Baldur's Gate 3 and Stardew Valley characters. But besides that, I don't really know any of these games very
Yeah.
much.
We can
Yeah.
let you phone a friend too if you need to. If you need to call a sister. So-
Oh, yeah.
Or text
Let
a
me
sister.
text a group chat. Yeah, let me text a group chat.
I think that the Fire Emblem Three Houses was Claude.
Nope.
Oh, wow. I feel like he was the favorite of the house leaders. I'm pretty confident in Final Fantasy, but beyond that, I will be starting to also run out of...
Yeah.
I'll let-
Why? Maybe we can...
You've got a couple more games that you can probably narrow down.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Stardew Valley. My favorite is Sebastian. So I would want to guess Sebastian, but I also know that like Abigail's a very popular one. Or Haley. I don't think it'll be anyone besides one of those three. My sister's being, she says, no, you won't be able to romance anyone for more, like 50 more hours, so don't even worry about it right now. No, girl, that's not why I'm asking you. Okay. So, and then Baldur's Gate 3, who else would it be if it's not Astarion? Or Shadowheart? Like Karlach, maybe?
That's who I was thinking. It was Karlach.
Yeah. Karlach's the nicest. It's not going to be... I mean, it could be. There is a Gale cult following. There is a cult following for
There is
Gale.
a Gale cult following.
So, and I get it. You know, I'm not hating on that. I'm gonna go Karlach. I think that's gonna be the guess.
It is Karlach. Karlach
Okay.
from Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice.
Okay, and that is good. That is a good choice.
Yeah. It's hard. There's not too many wrong choices with the Baldur's Gate 3 romances.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Yeah,
there are a
honestly.
couple of ones that are like, they feel like they are bad. But
Well, it's like if you go with Minthara, I'm like, I know what you did. I know what you did to those tieflings, but
yeah.
I'm not judging. I just know.
Mhm, exactly.
Is Final Fantasy VII Tifa?
It is not Tifa.
Wow. Then it's Aerith.
It is Aerith.
Yeah, okay.
That was pretty. There were only two real choices.
Yeah,
there,
it was
so.
50-50.
Okay, Stardew Valley, I feel like I'm going to go Abigail. I feel like that's got to be more popular than Sebastian.
Yes, Abigail is the one that the internet has chosen. The one I always felt like I heard was Penny. Penny was the one that everybody
Really?
was fawning over. So
Josie loves Penny, but Aaron really hates on her for loving Penny, so I'm not really sure. Like, I have two ends on my podcast of opinions about Penny.
yeah,
Okay, well, I'm now useless to you, so good luck with the rest of it.
Yeah. I'm
So
going to
we've
give Fire Emblem one more guess, and then I think that might be it for me too. Is it
yeah.
Edelgard? Is that how you say her name?
It is not Edelgard, although she was one of the many Fire Emblem characters that showed up, just didn't get enough votes.
Interesting. So yeah, I don't know Dragon Age
Yeah.
Inquisition well enough.
My Dragon Age
Yeah.
Inquisition is that Freddie Prinze Jr. voiced this character. I don't know if that helps anybody. Okay.
No, I don't remember
So-
any of the characters' names from that game.
Okay. So
There's that one girl with
the-
the low voice, but I don't think that is.
that
I
that
played
is a good
I played
guess.
like an hour of that game, so
Yeah.
that's all I remember about it.
Okay, so yeah, you did not get to where this character was introduced, but it is Iron Bull, who is the big guy with like the big horns coming out of his head. I forget what like they called his his species in that game, but he was voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. So the voice of, now I'm blanking on it. He was in the Scooby-Doo live action movie, but he was also some character in Star Wars. I forget which one though. Maybe he was in like Star Wars Rebels, maybe.
Oh yeah, he was
Ezra, maybe?
No, the older Jedi.
Okay.
The Jedi who trained Ezra. I can't remember his name. Goes blind, but yeah.
Persona 5 was Makoto, who is...
My sister really failed me on that. She never even texted me back after saying, don't worry about it. So...
Aren't you playing 3?
I am playing 3, but it's like a completely different story.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. But like, did she think you were talking about 3?
Yeah, she thought I was talking about 3, which I did say, no, Persona 5, please help. And she never texted back. So...
Piper was from Fallout 4. Piper is the like reporter lady that you meet when you go to the town that is in Fenway Park.
I vaguely remember that.
And then Dimitri Blade? I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, that was the other.
He is the leader of the Blue Lions, which is not the house that I chose.
We did do an episode on what Fire Emblem is, but I just we didn't really go into specific characters, you know? So I'm like, I know what the Blue Lions are, but I would never be able to tell you like a specific character.
I thought he was like I thought generally speaking, he was the least favorite house leader, but I guess that was just like the podcast I was listening to.
To be fair, he probably was.
Right.
But he was like, I pulled like 7 or 8 of these lists together and like compiled them. And so like if they ranked it number 1, I gave it 10 points. If they ranked it number 10, I gave it 1 point. And so he was probably one person's number 1.
Right.
They really liked Dimitri. And so he got like 10 points, which was enough to like eke him out over everybody else who was like, well, Edelgard is really good, but I'm going to rank her at number like 8. And so she's only going to get 3 points. And so like,
right. Just the math of it all.
Yeah, but there were a lot of like unhinged ones in this as well. Like Waluigi was surprisingly high on the list.
Aaron loves Waluigi.
Yeah, there were a disturbing number of Star Fox characters on the list.
Yeah.
So
Crystal awoke things in a certain generation.
Yeah. So I think Sonic the Hedgehog was on the list, just not super high. So
Rouge the Bat.
Yes.
Amy,
yeah.
Yeah, all of the Baldur's Gate 3 characters were on the list, but Karlach was like 2 people's number like 1 or 2, and so managed to like get on the big list, whereas everybody else was like too low on everyone's list that, you know, they were still like in their top 10 of best romanceable characters, but not like enough to get them up over the hump there. So
nice. So we didn't knock one single list out completely, but I feel like we did pretty good on that first one and on the second one, and then the last one, you know, we made it work.
Well, and the fun is working it out and trying to make it happen, and
absolutely
getting to be like, wow, people on the internet make some dumb lists.
And I'm not ashamed of our performance. So that's honestly, the bar was pretty low for me of like, please just don't embarrass yourself. So I feel like we did okay. So
well, and I feel like you guys got all of the like big obvious ones, and then like the ones that like you would stall out on, it was like, okay, yeah, but this is like kind of a more niche game, or this is like a game that takes 400 hours to play through, Persona 5. And so like
yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks so much for playing, Sam. That was a lot of fun. This is the part of the show where I want you to let everybody know where they can find Fake Gamer Girls, where they can keep up with you guys, listen to your content, just plug all your stuff. Let everybody know. I'm going to get the links and everything from you to put in the podcast description, but go ahead and let them know now.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Yeah, Fake Gamer Girls, we're like anywhere you get your podcast, I think. This is what Erin says. I'm just going to repeat what she normally says. So I don't really take care of any of this stuff. But yeah, anywhere you get your podcast at Fake Gamer Girls, we have a website, fakegamergirls.com, where you can tell us what you're playing. And a lot of our links to social media are there. But we're on TikTok and Instagram at Fake Gamer Girls Pod. And then I'm trying to think, like, I don't think there's really much else with that. Just Instagram and TikTok are where we're most active. And then if you listen to one of our episodes, we have like a link for like to tell us what you're playing, which is what we always tell people, that we need more submissions for that. So even if you don't listen to the show, you can tell us what you're playing, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's Fake Gamer Girls.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you guys having me on the show. Like, it's been so fun to get to know you guys. I mean, mostly it's been me talking, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to get to know me too. And awesome. I appreciate our shared mission of telling everyone that they are real gamers. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being on here. It's been a great time getting to know you, getting to play a little game with you. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, this has been a ton of fun. Hopefully it is the beginning of a new podcast friendship and not just a one-off here. I think there could definitely be some room for some future collaborations here.
Definitely.
Really enjoyed getting to know you and speaking with you on this episode. So yeah, unless you have anything else that you want to say, I think we can wrap it up.
No, that's all for me. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Well, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for listening. We genuinely appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next one. We hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of the Friendly Neighborhood Gamers podcast. If so, we would greatly appreciate your help in growing the show and the community by giving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any other podcasting app that allows it.
We also have some great videos on our YouTube channel, including reviews, rankings, and other topics. We would really appreciate you checking it out. And if you want to keep up with everything going on in the neighborhood, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and feel free to jump in our Discord server.
We hope to see you there. Links for everything are in the podcast description. Thanks again for listening, and remember,
Stay friendly, gamers.